Everybody, what's going on? I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom for the week of January 2022 through the 30th of 2022. That's a lot of twos, which I think is very appropriate as we look at the vibration and quality of energy, the planets, numbers. All of these are just symbols that gives us a language that we can wrap our thoughts around. And I think it's really important to emphasize our words, especially this week, as we have quite a bit of movement here with Mars and with Venus, as well as Mercury and Pluto are going to be canoodling. And the reason I'm bringing up words is because conversation helps us to connect, and it does invite us into deeper intimacy if we're willing to use our words as a tool instead of a weapon. But we'll talk more about that in a second. One of the other things I want to point out for the energy this week is that we're going to be leading into a new moon, but we have a little bit of spaciousness. We just came off of a full moon, and we're in the in-between space between that full and new moon. And so this gives us a chance to be able to disseminate all the information, all the energy, all the things that are inside of us that we have experienced and learned, and we can share this with one another. With the sun now in Aquarius, happy birthday to you Aquarians, and the ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, is now direct, we will feel and probably see some real strong movement and outspokenness when it comes to freedom and equality and what actually serves the greater good. Many of us have been sitting back, just sort of waiting for the energy to shift so that we feel this internal push. And then maybe there's enough pressure externally that is forcing us to get up out of our chairs and to start doing some things. It's time to stop talking and start doing. And very often, this is where we're looking at our lives when the sun is in Aquarius to say, where do I need more freedom? Where do I need more independence, or at least some other innovative ways of thinking and being? And do my circumstances and situation line up with this? I would also offer this is a beautiful time to have some big ideas that could revolutionize the world in which you live in. It can also revolutionize our planet as well. I would venture to say that we'll probably have some breakthrough scientific facts, maybe with the pandemic. There may be just with space and time as well. And there could be some other wonderful breakthroughs when it comes to the things that have felt a little restrictive in our lives. Now, I mentioned in last week's video, and I'm going to keep kind of pointing us to this when it's appropriate, but we're hopefully feeling the shift of the nodes of the moon from the Gemini Sagittarius signs into Taurus Scorpio. And so deep healing is taking place. You may have already started to have some good conversation, maybe some circumstances that have required some healing, as well as forgiveness. And really what we're working towards now is rebuilding our lives, rebuilding our belief systems, rebuilding our mindset, rebuilding things, because we've been through transformative times. And life is going to flow through us and move around us. It's going to happen whether or not we participate. I, for one, and this is part of the reason why I love what I do and I love working with individuals and groups, is that I want to embrace life. I want to get on the ride, and I want to do it consciously. What I mean is I'm not the type of person that wants life to happen to me. I want to participate fully with life. And what I'm finding is that the older I get, the more I want to embrace this kind of ride, because it gives me a chance to influence or to affect myself, the world around me, even if it's just one person, hopefully in a positive way, because that is the path that I choose and the path of service. And so I'll emphasize this a little bit more by saying when Mars moves into Capricorn on the 24th, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. And so it is going to work hard with Mars here. It's going to drive us. It's going to cause us to want to take action, to be industrial with the way in which we do things. And if we're focused on the positivity, we're focused on the healing, and we're focused on rebuilding, that we understand this isn't a rush job. This is one that allows us to be able to achieve things for the sake of achieving them. and doing it over time and doing it over hard work. We're not going to be afraid of that hard work. This is a great opportunity for us to look at working hard for the sake of achieving what may seem like the impossible. So if you feel like you're faced with an impossible task, or you're faced with the impossible decisions that you've been holding yourself back from, or you're faced with a situation that feels overwhelming or impossible, just know that the support that we have with Mars here, who traditionally in the Roman days, Mars was the protector of the community. So keep that as a mindset. We are protected, and that we can start taking some calculated risk in order to achieve the things that we want to achieve in our lives. So if there is, I'll say, relationship dynamics, for example, that you're struggling with, do I have this conversation with them? Do I go deeper? Do I end it? Do I just sit back and wait a little bit more and allow time to keep, revealing what needs to be revealed? You'll start having the answers. You'll start researching them. You'll most likely find the support that you need, the protection you need in order to trust yourself even further to prompt these conversations or prompt the decisions and actions that you want to take. Another piece of Mars in Capricorn, for those of you who are looking to change jobs, you're looking to increase your clientele, you're looking to add more to your budget, your bottom line, your income, this is a beautiful time for you to be able to activate that. And nothing will stop you from getting what you ultimately desire. You may have to really sell yourself hard. You may have to really work with the recruiters and allow yourself to think out of the box, or advertise and market for those new clients. Remember, we're in a time now where Saturn is still in Aquarius, and it's asking us to really lean into our community and to not be afraid. With Saturn, much of the Saturn energy activates fear. We have Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn ruling Capricorn. So Pluto brings up these hidden fears as well. So we look at this thing called fear, and many people, especially in the spiritual community, will try and push fear away. However, you've heard me say this, I'm about integrating, because fear is part of the human experience. You can't get rid of it, but you can let it work with you, and you can work with fear. And keep in mind that fear has a way of heightening all of our senses. If you notice, let's say you're walking around the corner, my kids would do this occasionally to me, and walk around the corner and they jump out, and it would, spook me. And all of a sudden it was just like everything just came to one single point of focus. That is how fear can actually be a good thing. It also keeps us from doing stupid things like running in traffic, or for me, taking on skiing, going down a mountainside that I really shouldn't be on at my level, right? There's a healthy fear. There's that thing called healthy fear. And I think that's what we can really capitalize on here. Where I'm going with this is that this week can give us some energy to face some fears. Fear of rejection, fear of not getting what we want, fear that we won't be able to pay our bills, fear that somebody could hurt us, whatever it might be, whatever seems to be triggering us, of fear, that we can actually use it if we channel it and we can focus it into the right direction in our lives. And also, if we can trust that fear is there to also protect us, going back to Mars and the Roman our archetype of Mars, and being that protector. If we're fearful for our community, that maybe it's going a direction that actually could be detrimental in the long run, or we're looking at ourselves, our family, our friends, and there's something that gets triggered with us around fear, it may be because we're feeling protective and we want to help someone. Now, remember, help is not help when it's not asked for, but what you can do is make the offering. It's like going to a party. You're creating the invitation. You can't force people to show up, but why not invite them? Hey, I'm here if you need my assistance, and I'll work really hard for you and for myself to make this work. It's such a compliment to relationships. And the reason I'm going to talk about that again and more in the future is Venus is retrograde until the end of the week. On the 29th, she stations and goes direct. She has been bringing things from our past to look at when it comes to relationships, when it comes to finances, when it comes to our values. And we're looking for some forward movement. Some of you may have started relationships or you have revisited some from the past. And now with Venus going direct, you'll start to see some forward motion. Some major decisions can take place. If you made a major decision during the Venus retrograde, when it comes to relationships, finances, or values, you may now have a change of heart. Or let's say it was private, you kept it close to your chest, and now you're ready to reveal it to the world. More information and more announcements come to life. If you felt like your relationship has been stagnant, if it's been very internal and you haven't really connected to your beloved or found that new person, just stay tuned, because after Venus goes direct, and now that we also have Mars in Capricorn, because remember, Venus is in Capricorn, what's going to happen are these cosmic lovers are going to start to canoodle. They're going to start to form this conjunction, and they're going to stay pretty close together for about 2.5 months. That's going to be fantastic, because Mars exalted in Capricorn, Venus in Capricorn, then both Mars and Venus will change signs into Aquarius in February, March time. So there's more of that canoodling that happens. It's a beautiful opportunity for us to continue to merge together our values and what drives us, what motivates us. And if you are looking to work hard in any particular relationship, it doesn't just have to be romance. It can also be business. It can be friendships, it can be family relationships, whatever it might be. There is one or two or however many in particular that has meaning for you, that you really were like, I need to have this conversation and I need to do work on this project with them, but I'm not sure. Well, now there's something here about conflict resolution, about deepening, and about allowing you to partner with somebody because it is in alignment with who you are, with your values. And I think that's something that we'll all keep coming back to. And we're going to be looking at, does the relationship help propel me towards my goals, towards the things that I'm looking for in my life? And also the flip side is true, where we may also look at this from, hey, somebody has asked me to partner with them. And can I align with their values, and can I align with the project values or the vision of where we're going? Now, remember, Mercury is also retrograde, and it will stay retrograde until the first week of February. So this last week of January has Mercury fully retrograde. It's going to move out of the sign of Capricorn and back into out of the sign of Aquarius and back into the sign of Capricorn as well. And so we're going to have all this energy around taking things pretty seriously. We may take our ideas pretty seriously. There may be where someone from our past does come back for a deeper conversation that says, hey, I really thought there was something here and I screwed up, and how do I work through that with you? And what do we need to do? And, if you've started a different relationship, or you and your beloved are revisiting a particular issue, you may take it pretty seriously now. And where before you didn't have that opportunity to do that, or you just didn't feel like it was the right time, now you can. Just keep in mind, Mercury retrograding, it does have a tendency to have us revisiting conversations and ideas, connections that we have. Use it. Don't try and think that you have to resolve it all in one shot. Now, here's the thing. Mercury is going to be canoodling with Pluto. This gives us really deep introspection, deep conversations within ourselves, maybe deep conversations with somebody of power. We're going to continue to really think about and look at, where do we feel we have power or we don't. We may also get pretty secure or pontificate a little bit or attach to our ideas, and we may force our ideas onto others, or others may try and force their ideas or what they think should be right for us onto us. So do be careful, because words can be used as a tool or a weapon. You've heard me say this before, but they can also be used as a great opportunity for deeper intimacy. And Pluto actually activates quite a bit of intimacy here, because it goes into the darkness, it goes into the unknown, and it brings things out. And we may suddenly, because we're in all this Aquarian energy, and there's that Uranus direct now, we may suddenly say things, do things that have lasting, tangible effects, good or bad. Only you can decide that perception. And that's the other thing, is we're still working, especially with Mercury retrograde, we're working with our perception of reality and how that may change. And a lot of that is based on maybe what someone says to us, maybe somebody you're partnered with or you're close to makes a decision and you have no control over that decision. And so you have to surrender. That's the other Pluto energy, is surrendering. And so it is putting this pressure or this energy onto Mercury, and it's saying, hey, I'm going to force this idea or this decision. And when it happens, you're going to have to surrender to it. And I think about that quite often when someone says it has to be like this. You know, we can use the pandemic as the example, but there's companies that are saying you have to have the vaccine in order to work here. And then people are leaving. They had to surrender because they're now unemployed based on that. And I'm not giving my opinion one way or the other on this. I'm just presenting it as an example. There's surrender. We always have a choice. We may not like the choices, but we always have a choice. But we have to surrender to the bigger picture. We have to surrender sometimes to the things that maybe we don't want to happen. But our choice to respond and how we respond to it is what's key. Here's your final word, if you will, for the moment. And that is, keep in mind that if we're on the receiving end of a surrender moment where we have no control over what is said or the decisions that's made, rejection is God's protection. And keep in mind too, that things have a way of, when space is created, things have a way of dropping in that are even better than we imagined. If you're going through a really difficult time right now, please, please let your community, let those who are close to you lean in, lift you up. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's the other thing with this Mercury Pluto canoodling, is that it's going to invite us to continue to ask each other for help. That is not a sign of weakness. That is actually a sign of strength, to be able to say, I could really do this on my own, but it's so much more fun to do it with somebody I enjoy. So let that be the mindset for this week. All right, you guys, I really hope this helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Come find me at jamiedawn.com. I look forward to connecting with you. Have a great week.